Hey guys, how's it going today? Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. So today's video is a little bit serious of a topic. Just gonna jump right in there. There are some parts of this that are going to be really hard for some to hear. This video is on depression and how these are things that I do because I have depression. Kind of like my social anxiety one, but with depression. So my disclaimer is this does talk about serious stuff. It does. It mentions self-harm, and I think that's kind of that's like the highest it gets intense-wise. It is an intense topic, but we need to talk more about it, because if we don't talk about, this is why I do these mental health videos, is because it's not talked about enough and it's not understood enough, because not everyone knows how to ask the right questions. And it's not that people don't necessarily want to know, and sure, you can Google everything, but there's a difference from knowing what it is to actually seeing how it is, if that makes sense. You might understand more once I talk about it more. Hopefully I explained it well enough. So yes, this is a disclaimer of I do mention self-harm, and so if you can't hear that, do what you need to do and take care of yourself. I'd rather you're okay. If you can't hear it, you can't hear it. And I understand. There was a time that I couldn't even say the word, never mind hear it, without being triggered. So I get it. Do what you need to do for you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to catch you next time. And for those of you who are still here and want to see how I am with depression, I guess, or see my take on how depression can be. So to start off, I'm going to define depression. So, depression is, or major depressive disorder, is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. However, it is treatable, but depression causes feelings of sadness and or loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed, and it can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems and can decrease your ability to function at work and at home. That was the definition from American Psychiatric Association, and I kind of paraphrased it. To explain it a little bit better, let me describe what I go through when my depression is acting up. One of the things is motivation. A lot of the times when somebody's experiencing depression, they just have no motivation. So when I'm in like a depressive episode, and I don't have it like majorly, I just have it a lot, if that makes sense. Like it impacts my life, but it doesn't take over my life when it happens. Like, I'm still able to get up and go to work, do the things I need to do. Some people aren't that lucky. Some people have it to the point where they literally stop living their life. And that's a scary thing to even think about, never mind experience. I don't know how that is. I can imagine it because I've been close to that before. But I've never had depression to that point. It's gotten close, though. So, first thing is I will have no motivation. And I'm just exhausted, and everything hurts. Like, literally everything hurts. And, like, yes, I already have chronic back pain. My arms start to hurt. Like, you just, kind of like when you know when you have the flu and you just have a lot of body aches? Yeah, it's like that. Except it's up here. And it's not that you're not actually in pain. It's just everything hurts so much because everything just feels so heavy. It's like your atlas holding up the world, and you're just like, I can't carry this anymore, bruh. Okay? Can we be done? I just want to take a nap. Napa sounds great. I'll have no motivation, so I just literally won't do anything, or I won't want to do anything. Or, for example, I might sit down at my computer after dinner and be like, I want to play a video game, and then I stare at, like, all of my 500 video games, and I'm just like, none of those sound fun. Like, I could play The Sims, I could build a house, but then it's gonna load in, like, 10 minutes, and that just seems like a long time. And then I look at the clock, and it's an hour later, and I'm just like, cool, I did nothing. Time to bed. That sometimes happens. Sometimes the chores will pile up. Dishes will just get stacked because it's just a lot of effort. It's just a lot of effort. It's not that I don't want to get them done. It's just that I have no energy to do them. And I already hate doing dishes on a normal day. So when my depression takes over, it's just like, F that. Nobody cares. It's fine. Watch what you need. Yeah, it can get bad. It can get really bad. Like, we try to keep up on it. So, like, when I'm actually in a good mood, I will keep up with him. And I'm just like, nope, I will do a load a day. I can handle that. And try to always rinse everything so it's not terrifying to clean. But it can be very, very daunting, even if there's just 3 dishes in the sink. You know, like 3 cups that had water in it. Apparently, it's very hard to do. And like, it sounds silly, it sounds crazy, but that's what happens. You mentally cannot tell yourself to get up and go do it. Or you can tell yourself that all you want, but your body's just gonna be like, no, I'm staying in bed. How about that? It's kind of like every menial task, like taking a shower, eating food, doing something you enjoy to help yourself feel better, seems daunting and just such a heavy task to do that there's so many steps to do it that you're just exhausted thinking about it. It can get really hard to get things done, and it can be really hard to just try to feel better because you don't have the energy to do the things that would normally make you feel better. One of the major things that sucks about depression. I mean, all of it's really kind of just hysterical, but you know. Another thing is eating. I will either overeat or I won't eat at all. And it can vary for other people too. So if I am in a depressive state where I am eating, it's only comfort food. Nothing good for me. Like, unless I'm actually aware of I'm depressed right now, and before I start going down that rabbit hole, I'm gonna eat all the health food I can just to feel better. But if I don't catch it in time, I will eat an entire package of Oreos in one sitting and then will not eat dinner. Because Oreos make me feel better. I love Oreos. They taste delicious. I'll feel sick afterwards, but they're delicious. A lot of the times I would go to mac and cheese or just eat pasta because it was easy. And you can get sick of food that way, which is part of the reason that, that's not always a good thing, because the more junk you eat when you're depressed, the more sick you feel in general. And then you're just like, I literally have no motivation whatsoever. So it's kind of like you're fighting fire with fire at that point. And it's really difficult. It's hard to push yourself to be like, no, I need something with substance. What I mean by that is, I need a balanced meal, like breakfast for dinner instead, of mac and cheese. Just because that way you're getting protein, you're getting some energy back into your system, and it's a little bit healthier, if that makes sense. However, there are times that my depression is just like, you don't need food. Food's gross. Who needs food? And, I mean that literally, too. My brain will just look in the cupboard and be like, okay, I've got cold fish, I got soup, I've got cereal, I've got nachos, going down the list of everything, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's something that I love, it's my favorite meal, like nachos, or bacon, anything with bacon, and I will literally look at it and be like, I don't want it. I'm gonna have rice so I had something. Or I'm gonna have toast with peanut butter, that way I said I had something with a little bit of protein. It's not healthy. It's not healthy, and I had it really bad in high school. That mixed more with my anxiety, because I would get so paranoid I couldn't eat and thought I was gonna get sick, so that mixed with my depression of I don't want to eat anything, and then my anxiety was like, you shouldn't eat anything. It was bad. I lived off Cheerios. Not a joke. Cheerios were my happy pills, because that's what one of my teachers called them, because I always felt better after I had them, because I actually had, food in my system. But Cheerios are really great for that, because they're not a bad cereal to have, and you're at least getting grains. And if you eat too many of them, you're just gonna feel really, really full. It was my go-to. I mean, it still is. That's what I eat every morning on my way to work, because I have a hard time eating before work because of anxiety. So, if I eat the Cheerios in the morning, I don't feel sick later in the day, and I can actually eat an actual meal for lunch and dinner on the days that I go to work. Find ways around things. That's all. Another thing I do when my depression is taking over my brain, it's usually the time I dissociate the most. And now wait up, yes, I know, dissociating can mean a lot of different things. So let me define dissociate. Dissociation is a mental process of disconnecting from one's thoughts, feelings, memories, or sense of identity. That can mean a lot of things. A lot of people describe it as you're watching yourself do things. Kind of like Dissociated, where you can see yourself as if you're watching your own movie of your life. Sometimes you just go down the dark path of thinking, and you don't know you're in that abyss. It's like if you've seen Stargate, okay, bear with me, or Doctor Who. It's kind of like when you're traveling through the wormhole of time, and you're just gone, but it's really dark. It's not bright, pretty colors. It's just darkness, and you're just going full force in. And you might be thinking about things, you might just be staring into space, being, I don't even know where I am. When I dissociate, it's usually a string of thoughts. Sometimes morbid, it happens. Sometimes it's mixed with guilt or other anxiety things that are acting up at the same time. Sometimes it's because of my PTSD mixing them together. And a lot of this, it's That's one of the hardest things about depression is anxiety and PTSD can really F things up even more. And it's kind of scary. A lot of the times it does happen more so because of PTSD. I have dissociated a lot before I had PTSD. So that's how I know it's more connected to my depression, because that's when I'll just sit and zone out. And I'll be aware that there's people in the room. I won't care. I do it a lot to my therapist, especially when I don't want to talk about something, or my mind will just go somewhere and then I can't explain where it went. I can't, because I didn't experience it. I just watched the movie and I wasn't paying attention. And I know that sounds silly, but that's honestly what happens, is sometimes I will just go down that rabbit hole darkness of time. And it's literally like a Sims rabbit hole where I don't know where I've been. I can't tell you what happened, what I saw, what I thought, things like that. I just know I was there for an X amount of time. It's weird to explain, and it's a little difficult to explain. And we're just gonna go into the next one with this. Sometimes I'll wonder about like super morbid things where I'm putting myself down. Or I'll think existential things like, why do I exist? Can I just pause life? Like, not that I want to die or anything. I just want to have in the movie Click, Rate a Clicker for life speeds and stuff. Can I just have the pause button? That's all I want. I just want to be on pause to recharge the brain and everything else so I can actually, do the things, because this is a lot, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what my brain does. It's not always linear. It doesn't always make sense. Mental health never really makes sense, especially unless you've experienced it yourself. So there's a lot of times that, along with dissociating, you can also overthink everything. And that's usually when my anxiety takes over, because anxiety and depression are like best friends. Annoying. Especially if you've been diagnosed with general anxiety disorder as well as depression disorder. Because anxiety is just like, oh, depression had a party without me? Not without me, honey. I'm coming over. And then you start to feel guilty about past mistakes and what ifs and things that happened, anywhere from within the last 24 hours to within, all of life. That's not even an exaggeration. There are times that I will think back to one of my earliest memories and be like, why was I like that? I don't know. You were 8. That's why? 8. That's a normal 8-year-old thing to do. I don't know. I can't think of an actual 8-year-old example, but I'll go back to middle school or high school and be like, why was I like that? Why did I do that? And that's just the age you were at, and that's kind of what you did at that age. And it's usually things that I can't control. I have no control over. Either it happened in the past, it's done, it's over with, I learned from it. Or it's something I literally cannot control. Entirely out of my control. And that's what gets really scary, is when it's something you can't control and it's weighing on you. It's really hard to just let it be. It's really hard to do that. Another thing that my depression does is mess up sleep patterns. It's fun. And this isn't just me. This is a normal symptom of depression. People will experience either insomnia symptoms where they just can't sleep at all, or they oversleep because they're just so tired, because it's just so tiring to be depressed. They're just exhausted and energy's gone, so you just want to stay in bed, or if you're somewhere else, you just want to crawl back into bed. When I get really depressed, normally I would undersleep. I would just stay awake for hours, get 3 hours of sleep, call it good. Lately, and this is more recently, since PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, I oversleep now. And when I say oversleep, I sleep more than 6 hours a night. And I will miss my bed. I will just want to sleep all day long, be comfy, all cozied up with a cat, and just snooze. It's weird for me. I'm not used to it. I'm used to being fine, I'm going to stay awake. I'm going to do this because I need to do something. I can't just stay in my head. I need to get out of my head. And I would stay up all the time. I would either write, I would draw, I'd play Sims. I would find something to occupy my brain so I didn't have to think about how sad I was. To put it in most simplest of terms. I can really mess up on sleep pattern. Now, with my oversleeping now, I feel like I never get anything done because I just want to sleep all the time. I have to be it's not at least 8 o'clock. It has to be at least 8 o'clock, and then I can find it acceptable to go to bed. I used to stay up to 3 in the morning, get up at 6 a.m. I still get up at 6 a.m. every day. But if I sleep too much, that's when I get overtired. That's at least what my body does. If I sleep more than 8 hours or more, I am exhausted and need a lot of coffee to get through the day. A lot of coffee. Another thing that my depression likes to do is amplify my social anxiety. And it's normal when you have depression, is that you don't want to do social things. You just don't have the motivation to do it because it's just a lot of energy. But when you have social anxiety mixed in with that, you then become even more terrified. You're not just like tired, you're terrified of it because of all of the symptoms of depression. Just because you're either feeling guilty about something, you're afraid you're going to dissociate, you're too tired, or it's so exhausting of a task in general, which is sad. But like, and you like, a part of it is too, like, I don't want others to catch on. Like, I don't want others to worry about me, you know? So I don't call my mom when my depression's high because she's gonna know. She's gonna know. She knew in high school and I didn't even know she knew. Like, so if I call her, she's just gonna be able to read it in my voice magically because she's a mom and that's what she does. They're a little less blatant about it, but I don't want to like burden somebody, you know, and that's a lot of it too, is when you're feeling depressed is you don't want to reach out for help because you don't want them to feel bad. You don't want them to feel burdened by you. You don't want to be a burden, even though you're not. And I want to make that very clear. You're not a burden. It doesn't matter what's going on up here. You are not a burden. You matter, and I'm glad you're here. If no one said that to you today, I'm glad you're here. It can be hard when you're depressed. You can think that no one wants to talk to you. No one cares. When they do. And a lot of people will say, oh, reach out to me if you're not okay. You know, I'm always here for you. But it's not always that easy. It's not easy to reach out when that's a lot of energy to be like, hi, I'm not okay. That takes me, like, there's only one person I've ever texted that to once. And that is because she knew what I meant. I can admit it to my fiance when my depression is acting up, and I can admit it to my therapist because I see the signs of it now. I can have one night of, I don't want to play anything, or I've been sleeping too much. That's not good. I need to keep an eye on that. Or I'll have other thoughts that I'm going to get into. But when I'm like full blown into a depressive headspace, it's really hard to take that step of, I'm not okay right now, I need a friend. We don't have to talk about what's wrong, I just need you there. I can't be alone. That sounds really easy to send to somebody. But if you have depression, there's a good chance you have anxiety because they're best friends. It's great. And it gets even harder. Never mind having no motivation and no cares in the world, just meh. If you have anxiety on top of that, it's not easy. And I actually mean that sincerely because it is just so difficult and it takes a lot out of you. The one time I texted my friend was, hi, I'm not okay right now. I don't know if I want to talk about it. I don't really know what's wrong. I just know you're gonna get it with whatever I say. And that's the only reason I was able to message her, is because we have that friendship of where she can message me if she's having a mental health day, or if I'm having one, I can be like, okay, so this is happening. I feel crazy, but I know you're gonna make me feel better about it and less crazy about it. I'm very, very lucky to have a friend like her. Very, very blessed. I recognize that. And I know not everyone has that person that they can go to like that easily. And I hope that you find a person that you can talk to. I really do. Going on from that is the feeling of just meh. I don't know how else to describe that other than meh. Everything seems just mediocre. You know, it's not all black, it's not all white. It's just gray. And I've heard some people explain it as the world turns gray. They don't see color anymore. I've never really seen it that way, but I understand where they're coming from on that. And it's kind of like you just got a new camera lens or something, kind of. Or like when you get glasses for the first time, I'm guessing. For me, it's not really like, oh, I can now see color because I'm happy again. It's more of, wow, the world is really beautiful, and I wasn't seeing that. Like, that's more of what it is for me. It's different for everybody, but I'll just kind of stop actively caring about things that I normally do care about, such as keeping my kitchen clean, you know, taking more showers, eating food, eating at least 2 to 3 meals a day, having healthier snacks, and, you know, it's just, I'll stop caring about those things. I'll stop caring about how my Sims are doing, or if there's a daily on one of my video games, I'm just like, doesn't matter? No, it's fine. I push things off because I'll push things off because my brain's just like, whatever, I don't care. And like, or if someone asks me how I am or calls me out on it, especially, I do this to my fiance all the time. Last night, for example, I was just very meh. And I don't know where it came from. It just came out of nowhere. I was having a decent day. It just came out of nowhere because it happens. Well, okay, I say I was having a decent day. Like, I was already having a day, but it wasn't to this level yet. And I was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine, whatever. Just, like, I'm like seeing myself in the camera now. I can see, wow, yeah, that's a little concerning. Yeah, clearly not. But, like, and like, normally when people tell me, it's fine, whatever, same me I just did, I can be like, you sure about that? Let's go get coffee. Let's go talk about this. Let's do something. But, like, my catchphrases will become, it's fine, whatever, living the dream, you know, to try to put that positive spin on meh and mediocre, you know? It's just meh. You just feel meh about everything. I don't know how else to describe that. So that's what I'm going with. One thing that also helps, and this is a trigger warning, because it talks about self-harm. I'm going to talk about self-harm now. Self-harm is a serious thing. It's not everyone who has depression is going to experience self-harm. It's not everyone. This is something I experience with my depression. Because a lot of the times when you struggle with depression, sometimes you will have suicidal tendencies or thoughts. That being said, just because someone is suicidal doesn't actually make them going to act on it. And it comes down to, and this is a whole other topic, like this is a whole other video topic. There is a national helpline that I'm going to put on the screen right now. National helpline, or at least the US, is 1-800-662-4357. I'm going to leave it up there so you can actually read it, and I'm going to have it down below in the video as well. Those who do experience self-harm thoughts and act upon them, it's really hard. It's a hard thing to talk about. It's a hard thing to admit. It took me years to admit it to my mother, and I broke her heart when I told her. I didn't want to tell her because I knew it would do that, but I had to explain to her what was going on in my head at the time, so I did. And when I was in high school, through college, I really liked sharp objects for that reason. I did it the safe way, and I'm not gonna show on camera how I did it or anything like that. You don't need to know how I did it. That doesn't matter. All you need to know is I did it the safer way, and I made sure things were clean, you know, and I took care of it type of deal. And I hadn't self-harmed in so long. Like, it was at least 3 years. And it took a lot of work to get to that point. The thing that really stuck with me one day was when I had admitted it to my now fiance when we first started dating, because my ex-boyfriend was when he found out, he yelled at me. When my fiance now found out, he didn't react, really. He kind of froze, took a breath, took my hand, and he was trying to hold back tears. It was honestly like I gave him a puppy for Christmas and then somebody kidnapped it. Like, that was the look on his face. And he just took my hand, kissed it, and was like, I hope you never have to feel that way again, but if you do, please know that no matter where we are on any kind of friendship level or relationship level, please call me. I will stop and I will be there for you. And that's in my head was like, whoa, wait, what? What? It made me not want to do it. I didn't want to make the face again. I didn't want to make that face happen. I didn't want to make him that upset. I didn't want to make him worry. It's also how I knew he was one of the good ones. But it made me not want to. And every time I had a thought to do it, I would stop in my tracks and be like, no, we're not doing that. We're not making that face happen. Because I would have to admit, he would figure it out. And self-harm is a very serious thing. Love to make a video of specific things you can do instead, like using ice, because that's healthy, or a rubber band, or a fidget device. There's so many alternatives than hurting yourself. There's so many alternatives. So many. And I know that when you're in that headspace, you can't think of anything else. And it's not that you want to die. Like when I'm in this mindset, it's not that I want to die. That's not it at all. I want to feel something. It's like the song Numb by Linkin Park. That's what it's like. And heavy. About the same bed as well. It's everything is so heavy, you just want to be able to feel again. And so you do something to feel. That's more of what it is. It's not asking to die. It's not saying you want to. It's just saying, I want to feel something. I want to know that I actually exist, because I don't know that I do right now. And that's a terrifying feeling to even be able to admit, never mind feel. Like, I'm really glad that I was able to, so far, do really, really good and not touch a sharp object. However, my brain has found a new way, so I've started pulling my own hair out. Yeah, let that sink in. Which is a terrifying idea, and it's not the hair pulling disorder. It's not that, which is a word I have a really hard time, and it's not Trichotillomania. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Trichotillomania. Yeah, it's a big word, especially when you're dyslexic. That's when, like, it's a constant. You just are constantly pulling your hair out and you cannot control it. Luckily, I don't feel the quota, I guess, of symptoms to have that disorder, so it's more of a self-harm thing that I do, because it's painful, first of all, and it's something that I do when I dissociate the most, when I'm not actively doing something. I notice I do it more when I'm playing The Sims versus when I'm playing Skyrim, because Skyrim, I'm using my mouse and my keyboard. In Sims, I just need a mouse, and maybe the keyboard for speed, for how fast the game is going. That's about it. So it's very easy to just be super laid back and just not even realize I'm pulling my hair out. And it's clearly obvious my hair is a lot thinner. These braids used to be thicker, a lot thicker. I wear hats more often. I wear makeup. I fill my eyebrows in so no one notices. And I've tried wearing headbands to cover it, but that just hurts it more because it pushes it down. Sometimes I can't even wear a hat because it pushes it down. When I go to work, I'm so self-conscious about it. I will hairspray the crap out of my hair just to make it not noticeable that I have bald spots on my hair. No, I'm not taking the hat off for this video. I'm not doing it. So when I'm streaming, I have my headphones. So I do a hairstyle that you can't really notice it. All I have to do is shoot the front. You can't notice. And I'll use volumizers on my hair. I'll shower more often to make it poofier. I will use a teasing brush that kind of poofs your hair out like emo kids do, like I did in high school. And I know that sounds terrifying, but my mental health literally makes it so I rip my own hair out. And half the time, I don't realize I'm doing it. When I do realize I'm doing it, it takes a lot for me to stop. And it's not it's just because I want to. I don't want to. I love my hair. It is my pride and joy, and I'm mad at myself for letting it get to this point. I'm mad at myself. I can't wear the fun hairstyles I used to do. I can't put it in a ponytail without having a headache. I can't pull it in anything without having a headache. A lot of people are like, oh, braid your hair then. I'm like, no, because then it's pulling more. This is pulling my hair right now. Not to a super extent. I'm given an hour or so, it's gonna. However, when my hair's down, it's a lot easier to pull hair out that way and feel the weird parts of the hair. It sounds crazy. It's not. It sounds horrifying, and it is horrifying. The first time I realized it was a problem, I looked down at my lap and I was like, I could cover Barbie's head with this, and that's a little horrifying to me. Yesterday, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop myself. I was so mad. I was so mad. And a part of me's tempted, let's just shave the side I keep pulling. Let's just shave that off. Do the Avril Lavigne thing. We'll be fine. I also know that would drive me insane, so there's that. But I am so determined. The only thing that gets me to stop is, wait, no, you want your hair dyed. And I don't want to go and get my hair done by a professional when I've just recently pulled hair out from my scalp. And then my scalp is open to chemicals then, that would be bad. So that's the only thing that I've been able to be no, stop. You need to redo your hair. I need to redo my hair, so I'm so mad about yesterday because of that. And that's not all the things that are connected to my depression. That's not all of the symptoms of depression. There's a lot of symptoms of depression. Those are just the main ones that I experience, and that I'm aware that I experience, and I'm comfortable explaining. I don't know if any of that made sense, but I hope it, at least if you experience depression, I hope you now don't feel alone, and I hope you don't feel crazy, because we're not crazy. Just because you deal with a mental disorder or a mood disorder, it does not make you crazy. You're not crazy. It is just how you're wired. That doesn't make you crazy. It doesn't. And it doesn't mean it has to define you either, because it is only a part of you. It is not the entirety of you. And I know sometimes it can feel like it's just who you are, but it's not. There's so much more to you. And it took me a while, and I've gone through a lot of therapists. I finally found a good one. I've been through at least 8, if not more. And that's almost 1 a year since I started actual therapy. And like I said before, if you need help, try to reach out. And I know that it's hard, but if you're having a good day and you know someone you can trust, talk to them about it. Be like, hey, sometimes I get like this. This is what I do. Sometimes my depression acts up. This is how I get. And you can be like, can you be that person to check on me? If you see that I'm doing X, Y, and Z, could you just say hi, maybe? Or communicate whatever it is that you need. And sometimes it's hard to figure out what you need for that. But it's not always easy to ask for the help. It's not. One thing that I have found, and this is partly just with how my brain works, is talking about it really helps. Because then you're more aware of what's happening, and it brings you back to the present of, oh, this is what's going on. Okay. And if you're dissociating, you're not like really there anyways. So you're kind of just experiencing it as a movie, and you're like, oh, I could apply that to my life because this is my life. If that makes any sense at all. If you do struggle with depression, and especially if it's mixed with other mental health things, whether it be a disorder of some sort or just how you think about things, just how you process, just know you're not crazy. You're not alone. It's a very common mood disorder. It is very common to have anxiety as well as depression at the same time. It's very common, very, very common, because they go together like peanut butter and jelly. They do. I don't know why they do, but apparently they're buddies, and it is what it is. All we can do is try to be proactive and try to kick their butt when we have the energy to. Really, that's really it. And it can be hard. Like, you don't even know that you are depressed sometimes. Just, like, I didn't know how bad I was until my mother was like, no, I actually, like, my mother sat down, and I'm very blessed to have a mother like this. She quit her job because she noticed I wasn't okay. I had no idea about this. I didn't know she did it for me. I thought it was for a different reason. And she had later admitted to me, she was like, I'm glad basically the time I had admitted about experienced self-harm in high school, she was like, I'm really glad I stayed home then. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, when I left my job, it was because I didn't know if you were going to be home when I got home. And like, just hearing that from your own mother is like, shot me in the heart right there. Because like, yeah, that's a thought. That's a worry. That's a genuine worry. There were days I didn't even know. And it's not that I wanted to die. It's not that at all. It's just, life is hard. No matter what age you're at. Life is hard, and it's cruel. Because people are cruel. And it's really hard to deal with. And when I was in high school, it was super hard to ask for help. I didn't even know a lot of my issues until the school finally just started sending me to guidance instead of the nurse's office, because I just wasn't okay mentally. Depression is not fun, but a lot of people experience it. A lot of people. A lot. It just, not everybody talks about it because it used to be such a big taboo thing. Like when lobotomies were a big thing, if you had depression, you were one of those candidates. Or you'd be just put into a psych ward because you were depressed and had depressive tendencies. Just because you have a disorder doesn't mean you belong in a mental hospital. So don't let people tell you that. Don't let people say, oh, it's all in your head. Because first of all, we know what's in our head. Okay, we know that. Second of all, no one knows who you are better than you. And yes, our brains can tell us things. They make us feel different ways that we don't want to feel. And that's just because our brain is wired differently. The synapses are, some are just struggling a little bit more. Some weren't connected properly. You know, that happens. You're not the only one. There are a lot of us out here that struggle in similar ways. Maybe not exactly the same. We all have our own different stories, and we all experience things differently and in our own ways, but there are a lot of similarities. I know that it's hard, but if it's any consolation, I'm happy you're still here. I don't know if you needed to hear that today, but if you did, I'm glad you're here. You're doing awesome, and you got this. You can do this. Again, I've been in a super dark place before. It's scary there. It's a scary place. And what's even scarier is remembering walking through it and getting through it. That's the scariest part. It's just casually being like, hey, this is my life. And you're just casually walking through, like, basically the Flame Kingdom and Adventure Time, and you're just like, this is fine. This is fine. Like, it's not. Not at all. But it's fine. You know? And, yeah. Like, I don't really even know how to end this video other than saying you're not alone, and I'm here for you. I'll also put the links of the websites that I use to define depression, as well as dissociation and such. I will also have the number for the National Helpline and links to other places as well for helplines and other things you can do. I will try to have those all in the description for you, right there, ready to go. So you have them if you need them. I hope I kind of opened some people's minds who were just genuinely curious on what it's like to have depression, as well as I hope I help someone feel a little less crazy and that they're not alone in this. There are others out here that we understand you, we hear you, and we're here for you. And I know it's hard to reach out. I know it's hard. I know it is. But you got this. I appreciate every one of you who stuck through this whole video, because I know it's a really hard topic to talk about. because we don't talk about it enough. So I appreciate you staying here and listening. I appreciate you listening to what I have to say and what I experience. And I hope it can help someone in some way or another. That's really the point of doing this. If there's another video that you would really like to see, or you have questions, feel free to ask in the comments or on any of my social medias. Feel free to ask. I will see what I can do. And if it's something I haven't experienced myself, but I know someone who has, I'll look it up. Or if it's something I haven't ever experienced, but I know stuff about it, or I'm willing to learn about it, because a lot of times with mental health things, I'm just fascinated because I'm a psych nerd, so I just want to learn more. If there's a video you'd like to see, please let me know. And I do plan on doing a video of saying what I do to help my depression, or to combat my depression. I do plan on doing videos for that on every single mental health topic I talk about. That being said, I appreciate every single one of you who stopped in, who stayed through the whole video, or just watched part of it. Thank you. I appreciate you. If this helped you, or you'd like to see more of these mental health videos, give that like button a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already and want to see more, click that subscribe button. I know to be doing mental health videos once a month, probably towards the end of each month, fourth Sunday of every month, depending on how the month is. I plan on doing more of these, and if there's a specific one, please do not hesitate. Go ahead and ask me. If I can, I will. I probably will. But I hope you are all having a wonderful, wonderful day, and if you're not, I hope it gets better. I hope the rest of your day just goes smoothly here out. So thank you for everyone who stopped in. Please know that this is a very serious topic. With that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for listening. Yeah, if you want any of my social links, they will also be down below. I actually upgraded the Discord link. I realized it was messed up. But yeah, just know that all of my videos, as well as when I'm streaming on Twitch, it's a safe place. It's a safe place. I work really hard to try to make it that safe place where you can just be you, and if you're having one of those days, you can say, I'm having a bad day, and I'm gonna try to make you laugh and make you smile. But that's what I want to do. You know, spread some more kindness and spread those smiles, because that's what this world needs. We need more of that. So I hope you're all having a great, wonderful day, and if you're not, I hope your day turns around. Go watch something funny, some cat or puppy videos, or whatever favorite animal you've got, or whatever it is that cheers you up. Go do something for you. Go do something for you. And if you clicked on this video, I'm proud of you for doing that. Whether it was to open your mind, or to not feel alone, or to feel whatever reason you did. I'm proud of you. Good job. Thanks for stopping in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. May the force be with you.